Good morning. We're going to go ahead and do some free-form breathing. This is Anna Imagination with the Healing Garden. This is healing meditation for beginners. Anyone who struggles with meditation, who wants to use meditation for troubleshooting, who seek out solutions to some very common meditation problems when you first start out, and how to prioritize and establish this. So my meditations are more focused on talking, explaining the theory, and walking you through actual courses and troubleshooting as to how to overcome the problems you run into when you begin meditation. And it also helps you direct and focus specifically on what you are supposed to be doing or focusing on during meditation. And your purpose for meditation will change as you get better at it, as you apply it more and more to your life. So this is for anyone who seeks a solution or have difficulty with meditation. So we're going to start. Deep breath in and out. Deep breath in and out. And this is the stage where I love to say, everyone give me space. You push everything else aside and you allow yourself this time. You give yourself permission for this space. And then breathe in. And exhale. Inhale in. And exhale. Inhale in. And exhale. Sit with yourself for a moment. Breathe regular. I want you to emotionally feel around yourself, feel around your room, feel around in your head. Do you have any emotions that are unsettling or disconnected? Anything that makes you feel uncomfortable is what you are looking for here. This is a great space to allow yourself to feel emotions properly. Meditation is an absolutely beautiful place for you to feel your emotions properly. I'm going to be doing a lot less meditation in today's class because I just had a perspective shift. I'm now in perspective 8 and it changed everything. I saw this massive big picture and I went, oh, and now I see where I need to tweak, adjust, and basically redirect my ship. And I need to steer my heading and get my heading for my ship more precise. So we're going to start here in this space. Did you know that I have a lot of different balls that I'm juggling? I have meditation for beginners. I have a Facebook page group. I have shifting perspectives. I have my website page, and I have classes and workshops. Every one of these little hubs is basically a different approach for the same focus. And today I am going to be aligning all of them and synchronizing them. So this week, we're going to talk about what the purpose of healing is, what it is we're really doing. I focus a lot on identity recovery, nurturing your identity back, and your identity is partnered with your defense system. Your defense system is your boundaries, your communication system, and your ability to enforce those boundaries once you verbally put them out there. And there's also emotional management, understanding how to use your emotions, what they are, what they're for, and understanding what they're trying to say to you, what your subconscious is actually communicating to you to tell you what action to take. So whenever I present my material to anybody, it's off of these 3 basic focuses. Actually 4, because I also have conscious awareness. But anytime you tune into any of my material, you're already tapping into conscious awareness. So congratulations. This is conscious awareness. Conscious awareness is when you raise your conscious awareness of what is happening through education. Education is the only way to gain conscious awareness. Education through reading, education through videos, education through doing, education through learning. The slowest method of learning is education through doing. If you just go in and you do and you trial and error it, it is very slow. If you have a mentor, that is the fastest, easiest way to learn something. So your conscious awareness could be down here or your conscious awareness could be here. Most people, I do know why, because of trust and finances, and they're terrified of change. So they'll do the work, but they'll pick the slowest route to get there. Focus a lot on trial and error. And what ends up happening with trial and error is it's really the long way around to get to your destination. But if you have a mentor, it goes. It's so fast. So a lot of people stall out in their healing because they're doing the trial and error method. They're not getting a mentor. And that is a huge gap of how quickly you're going to learn. So, and then there's the other part with trial and error is people might go out of their way to find resources. They might use Google to stumble upon the right resources, but it's a needle in a haystack. And you could be watching hours on something that you've already learned, or it's not actually doing anything. So if you think about like this growth thing where it's doing this, with trial and error, you're doing this. And it's just kind of toggling. With looking in YouTube videos, at first you are going to see momentum, but then you're going to stall out because it's pretty much the same material, because all of it comes from a perspective for society. And it's all textbook, and they're all just regurgitating the same stuff. Now, some people might find different ways to say the same stuff, but it's the same stuff. In the Healing Garden, I've completely rewritten everything. It's all scratch. There's nothing here. The only material that I went, wow, this is useful, is Dr. Graves' research that he did in the 1970s that fourth perspective systems threw away. They've just kind of, okay, this is interesting, and they shelved it. That's the answer. They shelved the answer. And then they regurgitated all of this other stuff in psychology about how to handle traumas and which diseases you have. Distraction, noise, that's not the problem. And what the problem is this beautiful Dr. Graves' perspective. So when you pull his information down, he explains that we have 8 perspectives, 9, but 8 perspectives that we all progress through as we grow up. And 100% all of our problems revolve around these perspectives, all of them. If you're abused, you're going to get stuck in perspective 2. But if your ethics are at perspective 6, you're not going to be at a 6 because your subconscious mind is keeping you at a 2 where it's safe. You meet somebody, or you have a parent, and your parent's a perspective 4, and they think you should be a 4. You think they should be like them. They're going to be like me is you're going to take my perspective. So they force your perspective into you. Gaslighting is literally consciously taking your perspective and putting it in someone else's. Okay, subconsciously. But some people are very deliberate on knowing what they're doing. So there's this ties into meditation, I promise. So there is this massive, absolute distraction happening with 99% of therapy out there that's currently available. Healing Garden completely wipes all that out and says, let's focus about the problems. Let's talk about perspective thinking. Let's talk about combination theory. Let's talk about your perspective, where your ethical perspective is, where your subconscious perspective is, where your societal perspective is, and where you need to be to get that alignment so that you're happy. Because happiness comes from the alignment. Happiness is the alignment. Happiness is when your ethically perspective is 6 or wherever it is, a 5, a 4, and your subconscious mind is with you aligned, and the perspective you are living in is also matched to your ethics and your subconscious mind. That's happiness. Oh my God, is it happiness? Because you suddenly have everything you need, everything makes sense, everything is to a standard and an ethic that you can comprehend. But when other people come along and interfere with that, that's where it all gets messed up. And that's what's happened. Children are constantly squabbling because you'll have a child who's at perspective 3 and another child who's at perspective 2. And the child at perspective 3 doesn't understand the child at perspective 2 because they have forgotten that they used to be a 2 and they don't remember that perspective anymore. We have a tendency to only stay within our perspective. So this is like the core of my work. And it all comes down to these particular elements where it's your conscious awareness. You have to become aware of the problem. That's step 1. The second step is nurturing your identity. We're not going to talk about your abuse. We don't do that in the Healing Garden. Instead, we're going to talk about nurturing your identity. We're going to bring that out. We're going to literally get you to remember who you are and what you love. And with that, we work on communication system. That's where meditation comes in. Meditation is all about your communication system. So I guess this video today is telling you really what it is you're actually doing with meditation is you are dipping into your perspective and you are figuring out how to communicate with your system. Most of us can't even communicate with what's out there. We need to learn how to communicate with our system. Meditation is literally listening, which is the other half of communication. It's understanding how to listen via perspective. It's called perspective listening is what I call it. Perspective listening is when you focus inward and you focus on what your identity wants versus what your subconscious mind wants. Because your subconscious mind, when you're sitting here meditating, your subconscious mind is pulling you in that direction. That's because it's worried because it's got a fear system turned on, and it's got a fear system turned on because it's been designed to keep you safe, and it thinks that you're going to stay safe if you stay at level 5. Or if you're at level 4 perspective thinking, or if you're a level 2 perspective thinking. But if you have this desire to start your own business, well, guess what? You're at level 5. But if your mother was a hardcore level 2 who felt that religion was your only answer to salvation, well, that's a level 2. And every time you step away from level 2, here's the other thing. The subconscious mind, that perspective of your subconscious mind is your comfort zone. It is your comfort zone. You're not going to feel safe outside of that perspective because that's where you were abused. So you learned a really hardcore lesson of, oh, this is the perspective I need to be at in order to stay safe so I don't upset mommy or daddy or whomever. So that's subconscious mind. Now, when you decide to heal, you're changing the game. What you're really saying is, all right, I'm going to take my perspective. I'm going to tell it that it's okay to leave this perspective it's in and move it to the next stage. And I'm going to start growing my subconscious mind. Now, your subconscious mind is going to go, no, I don't want to. And it's going to adamantly stay in its spot and it's going to fight you. Now you need the tools to coax it out. But before you can even do that, you need to learn how to communicate with it. Enter meditation. So now meditation has stepped in and it's saying, all right, we're going to teach you how to communicate with your subconscious mind, how to receive the messages from the subconscious mind. We're going to teach you how to nurture your identity and your defense system, your communication system, because you are going to need that back. But it all starts here at meditation. But this is step 2. Meditation is step 2. You can't even touch meditation until you know what's going on. And that's conscious awareness. But you're at meditation for beginners. So you've skipped the conscious awareness part. So you're sitting here meditating, and a lot of people are going, I don't understand what I'm doing here. Some people figure it out. Some people don't. Some people who figure it out don't have these words. Once I give them the words, I get the same reaction. Oh, that's what's going on. That's conscious awareness. That is what you need. So class 1 is conscious awareness, and that's over at my Facebook page. So people over at my Facebook page are getting this information. But you're at meditation for beginner. That's stage 2. That's where we're going to now take conscious awareness. We're going to sit down and we're going to apply it. Now, we're going to sit down and work on communication. And I'm over there pushing them saying, guys, you need to do your meditation. You need to do your self-care because this is what we're doing with conscious awareness. See how it's going full circle. The third step now is figuring out your combination theory. Now I have a class of combination theory where I teach you how you can figure out which perspective your subconscious mind is stuck at, which one your parents are, that's going to be important, which one you are, and how you're going to bring these combinations together so you can start getting a map to where you want to go. The map is the core to all of this. It's the X on your map that marks the spot. But if we're all healing and we're all using holistic methods, but we don't know where we're going, you're not going to get anywhere. That's your free form again, where you're all over the place because you're trial and erroring this. Stop trial and erroring it. There is a textbook, gorgeous path that is laid out step by step that expedites this. This is where instant gratification has no place in conscious awareness. But instant gratification has its places elsewhere. But the goal is you do the prep work so that when you sit down and you do the work, it plugs it right in and it flies. It's like cooks get this. If you cook, there's two ways to cook. There's the improv cook. I want to make pancakes. And this is me. I hate it when I do this, but this is me. And I sit down and I look through it all and I go, flour, I need flour. And I'll walk around the kitchen and I'll grab flour. I'll get the flour out. I'll find the measuring cups and I'll like measure everything out. The other way is you sit down and you accumulate all the ingredients. You accumulate all the supplies. You pre-measure everything. And then you read the instruction and it just goes. That's the difference. And with our healing, it's equivalent to a lot of trial and error, a lot of scattering, a lot of wandering around. Whereas with the other, it's not. It's right there. It's everything's all laid out for you because you've done the prep work. Prep work is extra steps. It's extra work. Actually, it's the same work. It's just organized. It's organized. So you can organize your work and then you get your instant gratification afterwards where you just fly through it. That's where instant gratification comes in. That's what you're seeking. Do the prep work, take the extra leg, and then it will just go smooth. And that's what we've done at the Healing Garden. So it starts with conscious awareness. That's step one. That's over at my Facebook group. That is inside my podcasts. I need a more organized, structured system to get you guys where you need to go. So I could say, here we go. Here's group one. Start here, conscious awareness. And my newsletter basically goes out and I lay out, okay, if you're in stage one, if you're in stage two, if you're in stage three, and it's a full system so that you have everything you need. Now, there's going to be stages where I'm going to lock the door and say, no, sorry, paying members only. And that's what the membership is for. And you have the option of purchasing the master classes. The master classes are for those who just want to go right through this and push. And they can do it all in 8 weeks. The other people are, if you want hand-holding, if you want the structured classes, if you want the workshops, if you want something that's definitely more budget friendly, then I have for membership, it's $120 a month. And that's, you get the power of self for free. That's included. And you get the journey into the self, which is the journaling and the workshop and basically this whole program. So it's 5 pockets, 5 steps. And yeah, we're not doing any meditation today because that's the problem. Everyone's so quick to just jump into meditation. And there's a lot of people in meditation going, okay, what are we doing here? What's the point? What's the purpose? Well, this is what you're doing. You are opening up communication with your inner self. You are talking to your subconscious mind and you are talking to your identity. And you, conscious awareness, needs to be aware of this. But you skip that lesson because that's over at the Facebook page, where I'm talking about conscious awareness, where I'm explaining this is self-care. So that's 100% on me. I need to get into this group and be like, guys, do you know what you're doing here? Do you understand what this is? So we're going to dive deeper into, I'm going to spend more time with meditation for beginners, and we're going to go through this. But there are definitely levels and steps, and everyone needs to start at conscious awareness and then meditation and self-care, because meditation is where you open up that communication system and things start to change. But you got to meditate. You've got to do it. So I'm going to go ahead. This particular video is actually, I'm going to save this one to Anna Recommends. This is I have a playlist that accumulates all of my favorite videos where it really hits, I'm really spot on with stuff. So this video is going to be slotted over at Anna Recommends. And it's also with other videos where like I'm spot on. So it's a highlight of my best videos. So I'm also going to pin this into the meditation group. This really should have been like my first welcome to meditation for beginners. Let's talk about what it is we do here. And I didn't, because I was a level 4 thinker when I created meditation for beginners. I was at perspective 4. Now I'm at perspective 8. So now I'm going, oh, I need to completely wrong direction. And like, I'm re-steering my ship and we're going this way with it. And I'm working on it. I'm working on it. I've been doing a lot of adjustments. And that's the thing is when you are at this level, when you get to a point where you're at level 5 and you're running your own business, the reason why you keep changing the way you change your own business is because your perspective keeps growing. Your perspective keeps changing. And then you get a whole new way of looking at a problem and you have to completely redo it. Oh my God, I did this when I was writing Dollar and Shadow, when I was writing my fantasy books. I had like 2 perspective shifts when I was writing my fantasy books. I had to completely rewrite all of my books over again. And it was like, oh my God, shoot me. And I had to do it twice. So that being said, thank you so much for joining me. I have a newsletter subscription that's available. This is all going to go out today and tomorrow. I'm going to be doing nothing but breaking down I'm not going to be breaking down the garden because a lot of it's where it needs to be. I just need to tweak it. So basically it needs to get organized. I got papers all over the place, metaphorically speaking. So I'm going to organize this. I'm going to get it all structured and settled down. That way you guys understand, start with level 1, go over to level 2, go over to level 3, use the healing garden to assist and walk through your healing. That's what it's for. And if you need help in an area, reach out to me. I love talking to people. I am available. So I'm pushing that out there. I have if you want to do a discovery call, I have that also available. And I have another workshop coming up. I'm going to talk about that shortly. So news and announcements is another really great way to stay in check. So yeah, it's time I organize my ship. Thank you so much. And again, sorry we did not do actual meditation today. What I do recommend is you take a look at my ASMR positive affirmation videos and my other meditation videos, and I go through basic meditation there. I think yesterday, July 26th, was a really good full breathing exercise. So if you're wanting to breathe, go take a look over at July 26th's video if you haven't already, or you can just replay those and go over them again. But this one, this was long overdue. I really needed to get that out there and go, do you guys know what it is we're actually doing here? Do you guys understand that we're actually focused on inner dialogue between the subconscious mind and the identity? Do you know we're doing that? Because it's really important that we know we're doing that. So thank you so much, and may the kindest of words always find you.